Joining us now is Shahrzad Ghanei, publisher of the Epoch Times Persian Edition. Shahrzad, thank you so much for joining us today. I just want to ask you to start off, how is China supporting the Islamic Republic's clampdown on the Iranian people?
Yeah, thanks, Don. For years, China, basically Chinese Communist Party, has built ties with the Islamic Republic in areas like internal security, policing, and surveillance. And these are going well beyond diplomacy, beyond the trade with Iran. They involve training, technology, shared security doctrine. Especially, they do it under the banner of what both governments call counterterrorism and stability maintenance. One important thing to consider is that China's model of internal control, they export these models to the friend countries. Like human rights groups are saying that China is actively exporting these domestic security practices to partner states such as Iran, which is Iran for sure is one of the key recipients of this model. We can talk about like Chinese institutions. They've been trained for many years by the CCP.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about that and talk to us about the evidence here that you see.
According to the reports that have been published, we can say that at least in 2015, by then, after that, Iranian police officials have been participated in advanced trainings programs that is being run by China's Ministry of Public Security. And there are programs, these kinds of programs are being focused on how to control the crowd, surveillance-driven policing, and rapid suppression of the unrest that are happening right now. Just days before the current protests, the Iran's ambassador to China was saying that continued cooperation in law enforcement and security is needed and reaffirmed that. So this relationship, we can say that it's not symbolic, it's basically operational. They're doing that. And Iran's police chief, Ahmad Reza Radan, who is already being sanctioned by the United States and by the European Union because of the human rights abuses, he signed a new law enforcement cooperation agreement with China back in 2024. And the deal was for the deeper collaboration on security, counterterrorism, and the methods that for policing. So basically, neither side released the full text of this agreement, and there is lack of transparency about this cooperation, and basically people don't know what's going on about this contract between the two. I can add to that there is also technology support from China. There is Chinese surveillance companies, most notably it's NTD Technologies, that have supplied Iran with this video monitoring systems and the technologies that are for facial recognition cameras, the surveillance network surveillance platforms that they are saying that they can track protesters and people who are on the streets, then they can know who these people are. And NTD is a known a company that we know that it's tied to China's security establishment and been in the past it's been sanctioned by the U.S. Because of its role that it had in surveillance abuses, like in Xinjiang. This happened in the past in the in that areas that Uyghur Muslims are living, and then there are reports that Tianji sell its products to Iranian security entities, such as IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
Okay, so based on what you said, it looks like there's heavy cooperation between China and Iran. It makes me wonder, why does China have an invested interest in what happens in Iran? Can you explain that for us?
Sure. There have been close ties between the Islamic Republic and the Chinese Communist Party, and it goes back to maybe the start of it was at the end of 1990s, when the sanctions from the United States and the Western countries started on the Islamic Republic. So the Islamic Republic tried to find an ally, and China was volunteered because China needs Iran's oil. So Iran is selling, like the Islamic Republic is selling Iran's oil at a discounted price for many years to Chinese Communist Party through these teapots that are called to be private companies, small private oil companies, which we know that there are, like according to reports, they are being tied to the CCP. As Iran is supplying around, they say around, the reports say around 12 to 14% of the oil yearly that are needed by China. China is buying around 12 to 14% from Iran only. So now we can see that China has lost its allies, like Venezuela as an ally, and now it's also losing Iran. So if we can say like 10 to 15% of the oil is going by Venezuela, and again 14% by Iran, we can see that why China is trying to support Iran and not Iran, but the Islamic Republic, and not letting go of the Islamic Republic. And there's also a 25-year-old contract between the Chinese Communist Party and the Islamic Republic, and again we don't know what's being written on this contract. The text has never been officially released. We don't know what the details, how the Chinese Communist Party is using resources inside the Iran. So these are the things that we can say a Chinese Communist Party is benefiting. And one last thing is that the policy, the strategy that the Islamic Republic has had since 1979 is to be enemy to the United States. And looks like the Chinese Communist Party is benefiting from this strategy that is being the slogan of the Islamic Republic, that the US is the evil, and we need to fight this evil. So looks like the China economically and politically benefit from this strategy or policy by the Islamic Republic.
Okay, that's very important information that you just shared with us. There's just one last thing that I'm wondering here about the protests. What is the current state, the condition of these, and how do you see it playing out into the future, weeks and months?
Sure, we are, on the 23rd day of the Iranian national uprising against the Islamic Republic, and the internet access in Iran is largely still cut off. The protests abroad are continuing, like the Iranian diaspora are doing the protests largely, like right in Toronto, in Canada, there were like 100,000 people gathered to be the voice of Iranian people who are, according to the reports, are being killed massively. And at the same time, there is medical professions, a group of medical professions that are warning about what's happening, like the human rights violation inside Iran. And NetBlocks, which is an independent internet monitoring organization, it warned on January 18, like on Monday, that Iranian government is intensifying the communication restriction. That is, they're gonna imply intranet project, and that's why right now the internet is shut down, because they're learning from China how to have this national intranet type of project, so that the Iranian people cannot access the information outside the country, or it's a controlled way of access. The number of being killed, there is 3,000 that is verified that they are being killed, but the reports are saying that this number can go up to 40,000 or even more than that, but it remains unknown. It's very similar to what happened to the Tiananmen massacre in China, that we do not know the real number of people who are being dead, who are being killed in Tiananmen Square massacre, because still CCP is in power, and the same probably would be for Iran. As long as the Islamic Republic is in power, we will not know the true numbers.
Wow, 40,000 killed in these protests. That is, according to reports, some reports that you just cited. This is very shocking. Well, that's all the time we have for you today. Shahrzad, thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.